I've got some terrifying housing news, guys, but if you're a buyer and you're patient, it's going to spell good news for you much later this year. Stay tuned. What's going on, my YouTube friends? This is Jerry Abbott, the only realtor in Las Vegas, keeping it 100% real. Hey guys, before we dive into the video, a couple of quick things. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to learn everything there is to know about the Las Vegas real estate market, then definitely subscribe down below. Number two, make sure to give me that thumbs up like, guys. That would really help the channel out. And number three, if you guys are thinking about relocating to beautiful Las Vegas, whether it's next month or next year, I've got your back. I'm a local realtor here. I've lived here for nearly 20 years. I know every inch of this city. Just call, text, or email me when that time is right for you guys, and I'd be more than happy to help you find your perfect dream home. Let's dive into the video. All right, guys, before we dive into the video, I just have to go on a quick 1-minute rant against my own industry, because as a realtor, if I have to listen to one more real estate expert, one more realtor, or one more loan officer still say it's a good time to buy a home, I seriously think I'm going to jump out a window. The gaslighting and the propaganda in this industry is nauseating. And what you guys are going to see in the next few segments coming up is going to prove to you why you should not be buying a home now and you should be sitting on the sidelines. So let's dive in right now. All right, guys, I want to first start off with this segment here because this is what I'm talking about regarding the ignorant gaslighting nonsense that real estate experts are still pushing out in the marketplace. I want you guys to watch this 1-minute video clip and then we'll come back to it.
Let's start with the trillion-dollar question. Is the worst behind us in the housing market? What are you seeing out there?
I think the worst is behind us because the housing market is showing signs of life for the first time in the last year. Everybody believes, whether it's true or not, that the Fed is done lifting rates. And with that, it's ushered a few more buyers into the marketplace. But when you think about it, the average price that we paid a while ago is not very different than we're paying 1 year later. I think the price now is $366,000, which is only 2% up from a year ago. But to pay for that house with the higher interest rates, the home buyer has to pay another $600 a month. Think about that. That's what slowed down the housing market, mostly the interest rates. The big problems still are high interest rates, and there's still a lack of inventory.
Yeah, so Barbara, that leads me then to, yes, we are starting to see signs of life, like you said, in the housing market. What's it going to take for the housing market to take off? When you talk about that mortgage rate number, what does that need to fall to in order to really see a huge boost in activity?
It's going to have to drop 2 points, and people are going to act like there's a sale on. Anybody who even has the first thought of buying a house is going to rush the market, and then we're going to have house prices go through the roof again, as we saw 2 years ago.
So the housing market is showing signs of life and the Fed is done raising rates? What planet is this woman living on? I mean, honestly, this is what I'm talking about, guys. This is the gaslighting, because people who are in the industry always want to keep pushing for a strong market. We are not in a strong market, guys. I'm telling you right now, this is the nonsense that is still out there. That's why I'm keeping it real on this channel. And in the next couple of segments, you're going to see exactly why buyers should be patient going through this year. All right, so let's piggyback off of that last segment, guys. Now, that interview clip that I just showed you was from February 21st. This article that you see right here came out literally the day after the inflation report came out, and you can see the headline. It says, Fed officials signal more rate hikes, likely amid sticky inflation minutes show. And then the subheadline says, Federal Reserve policymakers see more interest rate hikes ahead. Now, I want to scroll down here, guys, and I want to just show you this one little sentence that I highlighted right over here, right there in the blue. I'm going to read it to you. It's from one of the Fed presidents from St. Louis saying, my overall judgment is it will be a long battle against inflation, and we'll probably have to continue to show inflationary fighting resolve as we go through 2023. That just goes to show you guys, from that woman saying that stuff in the last segment, that's a nonsense. The Fed is absolutely going to continue to raise rates, which is going to only weaken buyer demand, which means prices are coming down as we go through this year. All right, let's take a look at this recent article that just came out. This is yet another indicator as to why the housing market is really starting to slump. Take a look at the headline. U.S. home purchase applications dropped to 28-year low as rates jump, because rates are now really skyrocketing. Take a look at this graph right here. This goes back almost 30 years to 1995. That's 28 years ago. We got to go all the way back to that level to show you how much mortgage applications have dropped that significantly. It's been 28 years since that happened. And the reason why? Take a look right here, guys. I highlighted this in blue. It talks about how central bankers will keep raising borrowing costs. The Mortgage Daily News, which updates more frequently, puts the 30-year rate at 6.87%. It's actually really right now close to 7%, and I actually think it's going to go higher, which is only going to weaken buyer demand. And again, ultimately, it's going to get prices to come down as we go through this year. All right, so now let's take a look at this article that just came out a couple of days ago in my neck of the woods here in Las Vegas. Take a look at this headline. It says, housing market starts year on a slow note in Las Vegas. Now, I want you guys to see this here. As I scroll down, this is actually really interesting that they added this graphic right here. They talk about the sales slide. I'm going to show you right here on the left. This talks about the U.S. average, okay? Right here it talks about how many home sales there were in January of last year. 5.6 million in that course of the year. Year over year, it's now down right here. You can see down to 3.6 million. So you can see there's been a huge drop off in overall home sales. Now the graph here on the right talks about Las Vegas. If you scroll down here all the way down through this, you can see how the drop off is here, but you can see that there's been a drop off of about 48% of total home sales in Las Vegas. Again, you don't have to be a rocket scientist, guys, to see what's going on in the market. There's huge drops happening. It's mostly due to the interest rate situation. The interest rate situation is only going to get worse, in my opinion, which means home sales are going to continue to slump. All right, guys, I want to show you a couple of specific examples here in Las Vegas just to show you what's going on with new home construction and resales. Now, I've shown you guys some samples before. I want to show you some of the newest samples here. Take a look at this website. It's from a popular builder, Pulte. Take a look at some of these homes. Now, these homes are a little bit more expensive, but a year ago, you would have never seen these kind of discounts. Take a look here. On the left side here in that red little bar, you can see on this particular home model, almost $200,000 in savings. This home was originally put up for $1.347 million. It's now down to $1.149 million. The one here on the right, this has $316,000 in savings. So originally they were trying to sell this home for $1,715,000. They're now selling it for $1,399,000. Now let's scroll down a little bit more here. I want to show you this one. This one here, $87,000 in savings. This one here on the right, $316,000 in savings. So these home builders that a year ago were having feeding frenzies and lotteries and waiting lists are now trying to offer these homes at major discounts, which they were not doing last year. And the reason why, again, is because buyer demand has softened. They cannot get these buyers in, and they are forced to capitulate on the pricing. All right, so let's take a look at a couple of resale examples here in Las Vegas on the popular website Zillow. Now, I know a lot of people use Zillow, so I want to use this as an example. I've shown you guys some of these examples in the past. Let's take a look at this house right here. This home is listed for $565,000. They did a small price cut a couple of weeks ago at about $15,000, but they're still too high because if you look down here, the estimated market value shows it at about $540,000. So they're still about $25,000 too high on the current market value. But more importantly, take a look here. This was from May of 2022. You can see the peak value about 9 months ago was $660,000. That means this home has been reduced about 20% in terms of its peak market value, and they still don't have a buyer, which means it just goes to show you, even with homeowners that are trying to sell their homes, they still can't get the number that they want because they're still too stubborn and they won't bring prices down to the current market value. And buyers are becoming more and more wise to the market, and they should be, because prices are going to continue to drop, in my opinion, as I've indicated through the previous segments in the video. All right, guys, let's take a look at one more resale example on the popular website Zillow. Now, this is a little bit of a higher price point, but I just want you guys to see whether it's a lower price point or a higher price point, sellers are not able to get anywhere near the prices that they're trying to get right now. So let's take a look at this price here. This home was listed at $1,475,000 approximately. Now, take a look down here underneath the Zestimate. Now, the Zestimate is the algorithm that Zillow uses to estimate current market value. Now, it's not 100% perfect, but it's pretty close. Their algorithm has gotten better over the years. They value this home right now at $1.2 million roughly. Again, take a look at the price point here that they have it listed for. That means they're about $250,000 still too high. Now, if you go back here on the history, you can see in April of 2022, right there, the home value peaked at $1.8 million. So this home has lost 33% of its current market value. That's a huge drop off, guys, and that is continuing to happen across a lot of different price points. And the sellers, unfortunately, they are still too stubborn to take the prices down to realistic levels. Buyers are becoming smarter. They should be, because I think these prices are going to continue to drop, and it's only going to get better for buyers as we go through this year. All right, guys, after seeing all of that data, it really boils down to three specific things. Number one, we are still near record home price levels. Number two, we are closing in on 7% interest rates. And number three, sellers are still very stubborn to reduce prices. So eventually something has to break. And what I think is going to break is home prices. These sustained higher rates is going to weaken buyer demand, and prices are going to come down as we go through 2023. That is why patience is the prudent play, and not buying right now and waiting later into this year is the best thing you can do if you're thinking about buying a home. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I also hope you appreciate my transparency. Like I said, I'm always going to keep it 100% real on this channel regarding real estate. So with that said, guys, if you are thinking about relocating to beautiful Las Vegas, where I happen to be located, take your time, be patient, sit on the sidelines. When the time is right for you, just reach out to me. You can call, text, or email me anytime. I have your best interests at heart. I will always be here for you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.